Releasing yourself from self-sacrifice through the Lover Archetype. More often than not, when we embrace a deep soul connection, we can give our unconditional love from our heart and our soul, only to realize at times that it's not being received in return. Or maybe it is being received in return at the unconscious level. But the third dimensional reality shows this individual as someone who may be denying the connection or not acknowledging you and the divine love that exists between you. Hello and welcome everyone. Andy Bryan here from the Soul Pathway. And today within this video, I wanted to speak with you about deep soul connections and the Lover Archetype, and how sometimes when we connect with these deep soul connections, we can feel this unconditional love and it not be received in return. Whether that be through your soulmate at which you're connecting with, or even your twin flame. Sometimes these relationships can be incredibly challenging, but the most important thing within all of this is not losing yourself, but learning to love yourself at a much deeper level so that you become empowered and not become that suffering martyr that loses themselves in these connections. Because unconditional love is beautiful. And when we connect with a soulmate or a twin flame, we know in many ways that they feel this unconditional love too, deep within their heart and their soul. And yet at times they can be denying the connection or even acting as if the connection doesn't exist. And this is often the case because they have wounds within themselves. So they suppress it and they repress it and they don't feel like it exists. Maybe because they don't feel worthy or good enough for you or even the connection at large. Because this high vibrational love often brings up those wounds within the surface for you to heal and even them to heal. But one thing that I've acknowledged is the Lover Archetype, and I can relate to this not only myself, but so many other people who have got this unconditional love for somebody else and them not being received, not receiving this love in return. So I wanted to just go through this presentation or this archetype with you so that you can understand it and the sacrifices you're making within these connections. So let me jump over to one of the images that I've put together here. So the Lover Archetype. Let's first of all explore the Lover Archetype. Now, the Lover Archetype is the part of ourselves which craves intimacy and emotional connection in relationships. It has been said that without love, that the soul does not engage with life itself, and we are left feeling lonely, empty, or even a void. In the early years of the lover, we may appear selfish, jealous, controlling, or even sexually obsessed. Now, these are my oracle cards that I'm bringing out soon, so my description relates to my oracle cards. But so I've put, if you have chosen this card, then it's an invitation to awakening your heart so that you are being led to follow your bliss as you live from your higher self. Join with others in the acknowledgement that we are all connected. You're being called to welcome, embrace, and love yourself. Now, what I found really interesting about the Lover Archetype, as I explored this at a really deep level with regards to soulmates and twin flames, is that you have this, selfishness, this jealousy and this controlling mentality, or even sexual obsession, where sexual desires may come up from within you as well. But when you feel this beautiful and unconditional love, and you know that they feel it in return, then you can have this deep feeling within that causes you to feel that you want to control the relationship or control them. And this isn't so much because you want to control them, but you want to embody this unconditional love. You want to have a giving and receiving relationship in love. And in many ways, going back to what I mentioned earlier, if they're not showing up with regards to love towards you, it's not so much because of you, but maybe because of them and their wounds. More importantly, I do believe that's the case more than anything. So with regards to that, it's essential that we don't look to control, but we look to evolve through that so that we can love ourselves. The other thing I wanted to mention is the caregiver archetype here, because the caregiver archetype is at play as well, which relates to the divine feminine and those of us who are embracing and embodying this love, whereas the masculine tends to put on that suit of armor and suppress and repress or even deny the love. So let me look at the caregiver archetype here as well. So I'll jump over to the caregiver. The caregiver archetype is very, very interesting, and it embodies the energy of the feminine that is within all of us, regardless of our gender. In this helper role, we provide unconditional love, often without recognition, to anyone who is in need of that. The earlier caregiver often becomes the martyr through self-sacrificing, enabling, or even rescuing. As we evolve, the awakened caregiver finds balance through mutual support. We care for others as well as setting healthy boundaries for ourselves. And again, going back to my cards, if you've pulled this card, it may be an invitation to live through your heart and bring tenderness and aid to your community. Or alternatively, it may be time to focus on nurturing yourself in the same way at which you support others. Okay. So that's very, very important within that, because when we give that unconditional love to our soulmate and our twin flame, what we're not doing is empowering ourselves and raising in love. We are becoming the suffering martyr. We are enabling them, and we are choosing to rescue them in many ways. And we don't want to rescue them. If they've got wounds that they need to heal, then in many ways they need to work through these things themselves. You can provide this love, but it's essential for you to know the balance within yourself and within the relationship, so that you can step back and you can begin loving yourself and empowering yourself. But at the same time, you don't want to enable them as well, because this doesn't empower them either. You've got to, learn tough love. And tough love is showing that I can give love to you, but I've got to allow it to be received as well. But I'm only doing that because I need for you to love yourself as much as possible so that you can feel empowered. And at the same time of doing that, what you find is the masculine, what they tend to do when you pull away, where you've got the push and pull relationship, is they have no choice but to honor their own wounds and honor their own feelings. So you've got the archetypal warrior, which I'm not going to be speaking so much about here, but they play the role of the masculine. And so the masculine shows up with that suit of armor to protect themselves and protect the feelings and emotions, because they feel that vulnerability is a weakness. Whereby you stepping back and showing them that they need to love themselves in order to embody their relationship empowers them to work through their own wounds in order to heal and step into who they are. So there is a lot I went through there, and I may have covered quite a lot in a short space of time, but I do hope you found that to be valuable, because there's so much we can learn with all this. And You know, when it comes to soulmates or even twin flames, we always have to start with ourselves. But at the same time, we can notice the wounds within others. We can help them acknowledge them. But at the same time, they have to be the ones to heal them. You know? So there is so much more I can speak about with you here. But it's essential that you don't go through this jealousy or controlling or selfish behaviors, but you notice where that comes from within you, as you may be embodying the Lover Archetype to such a deep level that you may feel this and be overwhelmed by this love, that these emotions overwhelm you and you operate out of them. So as you step back and honor and love yourself as well, they begin to love themselves and step into who they are, and in turn union becomes a part of the journey. But we have to learn to honor our shadow, and these are wounds from our shadow. The shadow of the Lover Archetype are these jealous and, you know, controlling aspects, just like the shadow of the caregiver is in giving so much love that you don't receive it in return. So don't become a suffering martyr to these situations and these relationships, but learn to honor and love yourself. Release yourself from self-sacrifice and love yourself through the Lover Archetype. Allow yourself to transcend this consciousness, and you can truly step into who you are. So I hope you found this to be valuable and useful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. And with that, I will say take care and much love. And I look forward to connecting with you in another video very soon. Bye for now.
Awaken your soul pathway and shift from self to soul. Visit www.awakenyoursoulpathway.co.uk. And if you found this content to be valuable, please be sure to subscribe.